Liquid Cryptid, wanna keep my mama, baby. Stuff, mumbling, pineapple stuff, dabbling, controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. NICK mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix, so that dabble politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, back out, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Yeah. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. You wanna mess with dabbling in politics? You can't mess with dabbling in politics. Listen, we debate it all every week Saturday night, and this YouTube thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time. So you better get some better views and get fame up all the time. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabble is blasting out the political shit. The asking for shit, put bounce in the dabble pit. On your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up, on your flags up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna touch now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Back up, tell me what you're gonna vote now. Dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Come on. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Yeah. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Keep dabbling, 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 dabbling. Hey ladies, where you at? Hey fellas, where you at? And the dabblers that don't give a fuck, where you at?
Hey everybody, Mumbling Nick here with Liquid Cryptid for a special edition of Dabbling in Politics, weekday version where we will cover President Trump's big speech last night in front of the House. Very long speech, longest in history, I believe. This show will be much shorter than the speech, but we'll get through it. Just real quick, Mr. Cryptid, what did you think? I know we're going to get to the Dems, but what did you think was the, let's say, the most interesting, the most notable aspect of the speech, or what stood out to you, if anything?
Really, as it pertains to the speech itself, and I guess I'll say, before we get into the Dems, obviously, if we just go with like the speech and the Republicans, the speech didn't seem it wasn't anything wild or crazy. It was a typical Trump speech. There was nothing there that I was like, oh wow, whatever. It's just like the Republicans, obviously full of energy, to the level that I thought it was starting to get a little cringe. It's like, hey guys, act like you've been here before.
Right.
The chanting and the stuff like that, that's fine. But it was just constantly Trump said, everything. Every single time Trump said something, they were standing up and clapping, and it's like, hey, this is already like 90 minutes.
Right.
But the speech as a whole, I didn't think was all that particularly interesting. As I said, typical Trump speech. Yeah, just
Gotcha.
nothing really about the speech itself that really kind of stood out, especially amongst the reactions from the left. And I know you wanted to talk about this. I thought, well, I'll just go on this real quick. That the the firefighter that got killed
Yes, yes.
at Butler, his family seems to be done with this shit. It kind of
Yeah.
looked like to me they're just. I think they're done being paraded around.
I
Um,
short
so
story. I actually, after he was killed, amazing, and I thought it was going to be a fake person, but the wife found one of my comments on Twitter and actually liked it and followed because obviously
really,
I'm not a Trump supporter, but that was just I mean I'm a human, you know what I mean? That was awful.
exactly. Oh, it
So,
was
yeah,
and the story was just tragic. He was
right,
actually, shielding his
yeah,
kids and his wife and
right,
took him and took one in the back.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
while
agree with his
shielding
whole.
his I mean, talk
That's
about
a
a
real
way to
man.
go,
Yeah,
right?
right. That's a
Talk about a
father.
way to go. If I was gonna go,
Yep,
that's the way I would
yep.
choose.
So yeah,
Um, but they look like they're pretty especially his daughters look, they're pretty much
yeah, I'm
tired of
sure.
this shit,
Like
so I think
it,
they need to stop being paraded around.
right. It's you see enough of these, and it's like depending who's in charge. I always hate, and I'm not gonna obviously just it's not just Trump. Whoever the fuck, sorry, whoever's president always does this. They almost exploit people, and it bothers me. This like I'm sure they care about some of these things, but it's I don't know. Like so, DJ, the little boy, teenage boy, DJ Daniels. Um, so that one kind of hit home for me. I've said before, I'll go into too much detail. My oldest had cancer,
Yeah.
and had very slim chance of surviving when he was 2. And tumor was in his brain. That scar that kid had across his head, my kid has on the left side of his head.
Mhm.
Um, and so one, I'll even say this, one of the most purest moments of the thing is when he high fived that kid that got was going to go in the West Point. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the kid whose his dream was go to West
right,
Point,
right.
and then, Trump delivered the news that he was accepted, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
I like that. That kid was
Yeah,
like
because that's just
especially when he turned around and hugged his mom
yeah.
looked so proud and happy.
And then that Daniels kid came over and high fived him. So it was
Oh, he did?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
I
If
don't
you watch it
I
again,
think I must have
yeah.
turned away.
They show him he's hugging, all of a sudden, like, that kid comes out of nowhere
Mm.
with his hand up, taps him on the shoulder. So that was 2 non-political young people just happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
that was nice of DJ.
yeah, it was great. I what bothers me, and this is where the Dems, they are so bad at I think you'll agree with this part, but you'll disagree with something I'm gonna say after. I'm guessing. The Dems are so bad at messaging and responding, but Trump just, like, deregulated those PFAS chemicals that cause cancer. He cut cancer research, pediatric research, not into universal healthcare, and then he puts a cancer kid out. It's like, why don't they say that stuff? Like, that made me mad. I I don't like it's it's all political shit because he knows the Dems aren't gonna cheer because maybe they should have cheered that one. I don't know. It's tough because it's like you don't wanna let the other side use someone as propaganda. But that one bothered me because Trump's administration is doing all these things to not help kids with cancer, and then they put up a kid with cancer. So that one just usually
Well, there's no actual legislation to, stop the NIH and, cancer research. There's proposals, but they haven't actually done anything like that, but, they
okay.
do intend to, so I'm
Right,
not
right. I
saying
know what you're saying.
whether or not there is or isn't, and not to diminish cancer and cancer research, especially, children and whatnot. That is a highly exploited group of people for,
Oh,
especially for scams, money laundering, all that sort of stuff. It's an extremely bloated bureaucracy because it's well, for one thing, it's cancer, so
yeah.
obviously but it's also kids, so it's an extremely bloated bureaucracy. Uh,
Yeah, just
And
full this. Sorry.
government funds for cancer research actually just goes to the administration. So 80% of the dollars are going to administer, where 20% of the money is actually going into any kind of research. And then, of course, that's how much of that 20% actually makes it down to the research level.
No, I know what you're saying. It just I that
So,
one.
it's one of those things where it's I don't want to say don't fund cancer research, specifically pediatric cancer research, because obviously it's an absolutely terrible thing. I wish no person, much less a child or parent,
Right,
has to
right.
go through something like that. It's terrible. But at the same time, you have all these scumbags exploiting it. So, I don't want to say don't give money to this, but I would like to say you shouldn't give money to it because it's basically just filling some scumbag's pocket who's profiting off of it,
Yeah,
which I think is more like what they're going after, really.
I'm very picky at the things I donate to. Like, I don't even.
Oh,
It's
same.
gonna sound awful when a store asks you to donate at a register. I never fucking do it because I'm like,
Uh,
the only one that gets me is PetSmart, a pet store in my area, because I'm a sucker for the animals. But
I
it's
mean,
like
obviously.
you're like, I'll be at CVS and I'm like, yeah, you guys just took all my money for my prescriptions and everything, but now you want me to donate? How about you? How the hell you donate? But
Yeah, it's like, "Hey, I got a great fund to donate to." It's, "Yeah, I just got out of the hospital and gotta
right.
buy meds fund."
But that was a weird one for me, and I just want full disclosure because of my kid. That like I'm usually like the Trump stuff, or anyway, like it's just even though I'm very into it, the stuff doesn't like bother me. My wife actually gets emotionally bothered by a lot of political stuff. I usually don't, but I found myself almost getting like angry at that one.
And as I
Um,
said, I was watching it and I was just like, "This seems exploitative." I think is the
right.
problem, is that it was very cringe,
Yep.
especially I'm assuming that was, the boy's father, right? That was
I
kept lifting
assume,
him
yeah,
up like that.
lifting up. Yep.
I was like, "Dude, leave him alone. Leave the kid alone. Stop lifting him up like that. You're just like, he's like lifting him up like a trophy.
Yeah.
Look at my cancer son." you know?
That's why,
And
like,
I
when
was
you
just like, "Hey, stop doing that, man. That's cringe. That's terrible." The kid looked like he didn't know what the fuck was
right,
going
right.
on.
That's why I like that high five moment if you catch it later, because that was just two probably a 17, 18-year-old in the cadet, and then, I think that kid was 13
I
or 14,
think it's 12 or
12,
13,
okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's, you know, two innocent people in surrounded by politicians in both parties just looking to exploit people. But,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the other thing. It seemed exploitative, to me, although I thought it was pretty cool, making him an honorary Secret Service agent.
Yeah, I think all that right. That was great. Like, I just, I don't know. I hate there's no almost no purity in politics. Everything's for a reason, whether either party, and it's just
Exactly.
it bothers me.
And as I said,
Um,
maybe if the dad hadn't have kept lifting him up like that or whatever,
yeah.
like handing him around, showing him off like his trophy or whatever, maybe I would have probably felt okay with it and just would have been like, "Hey, good for him," But it was just like, "Dude, this is cringe. Stop it. You're doing a cringe."
I will say this, not to do a 180, but I was surprised. I bet someone at work. I was like, they're gonna have an extra chair behind Trump, and Elon's gonna be sitting there. So I lost that bet. I was glad
I'm
he was at
actually
least
that's
in.
I didn't even think about that, but that is actually a little. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have taken that bet. I'd have
But
been like, "Yeah, he's definitely gonna have a chair there."
yeah, I'm like, I know it's usually the vice president and the
Yeah,
uh
and the speaker.
Speaker of the House, but they'll squeeze another one in there somewhere. But glad
It's
it
Elon
didn't
Musk,
happen.
man. What are you gonna do?
Right. Um, so what I noticed, well, my opinion, it seemed the first half of the speech was very culture warish, and then when he got down to some of the other stuff, it was almost like a Paul Ryan speech, but didn't sound like one because it was Trump, but it was like, cutting entitlement, social security. Like, it was weird. It was Trump's like so good at talking like Trump that I don't think people even pick up like, oh, a lot of this stuff is something like, the Paul Ryan era would have been into or whatever with all those cuts. But he's like I said, he's just so good at that Trump delivery that no
Well, and
one's
also the
even
difference is that, we expect him to do it now.
Right.
Every politician, I think whatever the joint Congress or was it the it wasn't the State of the Union, it was the
Yeah, I keep calling it
joint
that, but
joint
yeah.
address to Congress.
Right,
Yeah, it
right,
was the
yeah.
joint address to Congress.
It was such like a State of
Um,
the Union, that's what it reminded me of, but yeah.
uh, but yeah, there's like every president. Name one that you haven't. Name one, non-Trump address to Congress that you've ever listened to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
It's like I think I maybe listened to 10 minutes of one of Biden's, and I was like,
I'll tell
all
you
right.
this, the most even though I hate the guy, the most entertained I've ever been in politics is 2016. No, I'm literally volunteering for Bernie's campaign, but the Republican debates were so entertaining in 2016,
Oh, they were. Oh,
where they're
yes,
just
they really were.
like talking about each other's dick size and just the craziest shit. I'm like, I can't believe this. Someone that's been in the politics and all the stuffiness, and it's like, oh my God, this shit's hilarious.
Especially being that it was the Republicans, because they're
Right.
normally like the real stuffy ones, like they
Yeah,
always have
yeah.
been my whole life.
Right. I'm like, Republicans in my day were like, don't have sex before marriage, go to church, you know what I mean? And these
Yeah,
guys are,
exactly.
yeah,
And trying to, well, at least give the public image that's how they are,
right, right.
Very,
Obviously they're not.
very
Yeah.
serious
Yep.
conservative people, very serious government officials. Yeah, then you got the 2016 election with especially Jeb and Trump
Oh, yeah.
taking shots at each other was fantastic.
It was great. Uh
But moving on to this, yeah, so let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about Al Green.
oh, waving his cane.
So what do you think? Was that on purpose? Was he the sacrificial lamb?
Yeah, I mean, love that shit normally, but you stop at some point. He just wanted to get thrown out, obviously.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
because
think
I went over to X and like as he's walking out, you got all the regular, DNC shills and scumbags on
yeah,
X are all posting the exact same thing. Oh, he got thrown out, and they had, all the examples of, Lauren Boebert or
yeah,
Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then the
agreed.
one
Right.
guy during the Obama that said something. They had it all ready to go. And I was just like, dude, at least wait a couple of minutes.
Right, right.
You'll make it look like, oh, this was spontaneous. It's like, no, yeah. And obviously, and I guess somebody stated that that they saw the sergeant at arms actually go to Pelosi first before getting out, trying to say, probably starting to say, hey, do something about your boy here. And
Right,
she, I guess,
right.
just completely ignored him and just
I
strode
don't
forward.
think Pelosi knew where the fuck she was last night. Like I saw
Do
some
you think
clips.
do you think there was alcohol in that cane that she
Oh,
had or
she's a
whatever she had in front of her?
could be. I mean, she's definitely an alcoholic. I fucking hate that woman. But like the Dems are so bad. Like I don't even think number one, it was too early to like do something like that.
Yeah.
Number two, what he said or the point he was trying to make was pretty good, but it's all lost. No one even knows what it is now.
I
And
didn't
it's
well,
so
what did he say? Because I didn't really hear it.
he was talking about Medicaid, so the cuts or whatever to the entitlements.
Oh, okay.
Oh, saying you don't have a mandate, and then was bringing up the cuts they're making, something to that effect. But see, I'm
See,
even
you
like
know,
getting all the details. Yeah,
nobody
but
remembers what he said. They
he
just
said,
remember he's a bunch of bullshit and getting kicked out.
but it's the wrong guy. Like I think I'm a big Jon Stewart fan, and he's making these great points lately. How the Democrats they're having like the Chuck Schumers and like these old like the guy's got a cane. Like have someone younger charisma that can make it like if you're gonna do something like that, have someone that at least knows what they're it just looked like a cranky old man waving his cane. Like that's what it looked like,
That's exactly what, and I didn't think
Yeah.
about that because I was just thinking about I was just thinking, the obvious ploy is obvious,
Yeah.
or the obvious are obviously trying to create a narrative as obvious, and of course the narrative they tried to create was, Trump is against free speech because he kicked out this Democrat, and of course,
Yeah.
you go all the regular scumbags, tried it for about a couple of hours, saying Trump is about free speech, but everybody said no, you violated the rules of decorum for the House for the House of Representatives. He was warned like 3 or 4 times.
Right. This is what I'll say. Like, I do think Trump is attacking free speech, but not for that. If like I understand that like it's Marjorie Taylor Greene did it, Boberg,
Yeah,
but
but
they
as soon as they were
stopped.
told to shut up, they
Yeah,
did.
they did. I'm not saying it's right, but they stopped. And I'm not
Oh,
one
yeah.
of these guys that I don't give a shit about decorum. These stuffy fucking. Not. I'm not saying like what he did was right. I'm just saying each side pretends they care about decorum when it fits their narrative, but they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care about it when they're the ones. Yeah. So, but yeah, he didn't. Eventually, if you don't stop, you got to go. You know what I mean? I'm a big free speech guy, but if you don't stop, and that you know that. You know what I mean? He knew
And well,
what he
I
was
mean, and
doing.
also, it's not like he didn't know that's what he's there for. They're there
Right.
for listening to the president
Yep.
address Congress. That's what they are there for. If they want to debate all this, they have all the rest of the calendar year
Right.
that they are in session to debate this in whatever committees or whatever they're on, and that is where that they are supposed to debate these exact things, not in front of the president, who's giving an address to the House of Representatives. But still,
Yeah.
they have to have the rules of decorum, and of course, this is something that probably Al Green probably voted on, supported these
I'm sure.
exact
Yep.
rules of decorum, especially after, like, I would imagine they probably got really strict after Bobart and Marjorie Taylor Greene
Yeah.
had their outbreaks. The Democrats are probably the ones that made the rules even stricter.
I'm
Just,
sure. Yep.
because they're just like, hey, we got to keep these crazy Republican chicks from yelling. So,
Yeah, they don't know how and I don't like I'm a big protest guy and I wish if they were gonna do something, they would have done something better. But on the other hand, the average person like isn't me. And I don't think if like they all walked out, I think the average person may have found that disrespectful to even though they may not even like Trump and they may have found that disrespectful to the president, you know what I mean? To the presidency or
exactly. Yeah.
whatever. So I don't know. There's stupid signs. It's just this week. Don't even bother if that's what you're gonna do with your
God,
stupid signs.
who came up with that fucking retarded idea
They're the worst. They're the worst, man. They're the
with the
fucking
signs?
worst.
That's just like, hey, internet, make us look stupid. Here's a sign that you can put whatever message you want on that I'm going to hold.
Right. They don't get
Make
like
me look as stupid as you possibly can.
I don't know if you saw there was Congress when she had a handwritten sign and said, "This is
Yeah.
not normal," and I think one of the Republicans grabbed it from her.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was like, was it when Trump was coming in or going out? I think
Yeah,
it
I think it was
was,
coming in. It was at the beginning, I believe. I
yeah, I
could be
think it
wrong.
was, I remember, yeah. Okay, yeah, it was like he was coming in and he was
Yeah,
like talking to people on the right or whatever,
yeah.
on his right or left. And yeah, I remember that. And then somebody came up behind and took the sign. Yeah.
So here's where I am on that. Obviously, I'm not for taking anyone's sign, no matter what,
No.
unless I don't know, there's a swastika. Even that, I'm not in for taking it. Let them. If you want to be an asshole, be an asshole. Show yourself.
Oh, actually, I prefer the racist
Right. But
expressly tell us who they are to be honest.
exactly. So I'm not for taking that shit. But on the other hand, like, lady, that's a weak message. People, it's very vague. People don't want normal anymore. You know what I mean? You got to be like, tell us why it's not normal, and you can't fit that on a sign. It was just so stupid.
That is a good point. I mean, I voted for Trump literally because it's not normal. He's outside the status quo.
Right.
I honestly didn't expect this whole Doge thing and him
Thing.
actually cutting programs and cutting all this stuff to actually happen.
Oh, he
I
messed up
literally,
last night. So
huh?
he put Elon in trouble with Doge. Slip of the tongue.
I was saying Elon's in charge of
Yeah,
Doge.
Elon's in charge of Doge when he's
Is he?
claiming they're
Is
claiming
he?
in court that he's not. Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Well, because yeah, there's.
Like,
I mean, obviously he is, but they're
well,
trying to
yeah,
but yeah,
Doge really has no power. I
it
looked this up.
shouldn't.
Doge has no power. They don't have the power to remove anything anywhere. Basically, all they do is they go in, they do the audits, then they report to the appropriate administration, and then they do the cuts and audits based on they do the cuts based on Doge's recommendations. Uh, so Doge literally has not cut anything because they don't have the authority to. They just refer it to the appropriate administration level of whoever is in charge of whatever that area is over there.
I believe they did hack into the treasury though, but that's okay. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Hack it? How?
How'd they get in? They fired the guy, then all of a sudden they got all their info. They got in the computers. Big balls must have got in there.
Do
Big
not
balls.
underestimate the power of big balls.
Big balls. And I can't even believe the shit that's happening. Or just the names. All right. For real quick, there's just something else I wanted to. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
one of the big issues, but I think I told you before we started that I once wrote I used to have like a blog, and one of the last entries I wrote was on Peyton McNabb, who is a high school volleyball player who trans player spiked the ball, hit her in the head. She claimed she was knocked out, partially paralyzed, all this stuff, blah blah blah. I don't know how this woman has gotten this far. If anyone just takes like 2 seconds to look into it, there's no proof she was knocked out or partially paralyzed, and this happened in the fall of I want to say 2022.
Well, I mean, I
Y-
saw the video of her taking it to the face.
it's- Well, what I'm gonna get at is fall of 2022, and you can find basketball highlights of her in February of 2023. She didn't even miss the basketball season. She's not that messed up. It's like I think somebody got to her like from somewhere and was like, hey, we can exploit this and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
really know much about it other than she took a spike to the face, which I
yeah,
saw the video of, and I was like, oof.
right. It is an oof. I'm just saying, like,
It was
there's
just like,
no
hot
proof.
damn, that was a good one.
That's the one proof we
But
got is that she got
that's
hit in the
really all
head.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really all I know, and I honestly don't really care.
Yeah, it's very like I'm like, oh, like I don't like the hypocrisy of this. You know, pull up your bootstraps and work, and it's like you got her, you got Riley Gaines. It's like they're just professional victims. It's like get a fucking job instead of whatever the fuck this is. Okay, you lost swimming, you lost volleyball. Move on.
Well, I do uh think that, trans women should not be allowed in women's sports. That's for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, and they obviously have an advantage, and the best way to, explain that advantage is that you don't have a lot of trans men uh, being very successful in professional sports. In fact, you have two. Well, one. Well, two. There was I actually looked this up because I was curious. I was like,
I was
wait,
gonna
what are
say I
the?
didn't even think there were any, but
No, there were two.
oh,
There was
okay.
a woman who was in like the top of the hammer throw,
Okay.
Olympic hammer throw. The ball with the ball in the
Yeah,
chain.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
spin around and fling it. Yeah, she biological woman was basically crushed and still has all the records for she basically has all the record distances in women's hammer throw. She's the only person that she was competing with was herself, basically, at that point. Transitioned to a man, and she still remained actually in the top 10 hammer throwers in the men's. There was another woman who was a heavyweight women's boxer, and she transitioned to a man. And of course, she was like, super, super light
Like,
featherweight
yeah,
as
right.
a man,
Yeah,
right? And she apparently did fairly well, but retired after a season.
gotcha.
So that's the two um, professional trans men who actually. I think that the hammer throw chick, I think she just was wanting a challenge. So she was just like, I'm a man now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go compete against these guys because the women ain't making it.
It's kind of like a different thing, but back in the late 90s, late 2000s, there was a female wrestler named China who looked like a man, and they had to wrestle men after a while because it was ridiculous having to wrestle these, like, even though it's fake, it just looked ridiculous. Like, it was unbelievable that a female could beat her. Yeah, I I think there's absolutely an argument to be made about, trans female athletes. I just don't think it's as big a deal. Like, I don't know why they make it this big deal. There's not that many, especially in, when you get to the
Yeah.
pros of college. Sure, younger, I don't know. I mean, I played baseball and basketball with girls when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Of course, grade school, middle school, that
right.
sort of thing.
So
Obviously,
high school,
maybe
I can see it,
high
but
school, maybe not so much.
yeah, I can see where the argument can be made. I'm not saying there isn't, but it's like at one point you got to move on. It's like Riley Gaines lost to plenty of women. She acts like the one trans person screwed her out of something. It's not what happened, And then, like I said, I looked into Peyton, and she's just some ambulance chaser got a hold of her story and fucking just ran with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
as I said, I don't know any. I don't
yeah,
know any more about it than she got pegged
right.
in the face, and it was a pretty wild video. But yeah, I
So
mean, I don't doubt it,
I think what gets me, it's
especially
like,
because she is one of these people that's been trotted around
right,
like a
yeah,
lot.
yep, absolutely.
So I don't doubt
Um,
it at all.
And I don't even, and I get frustrated with her, but I don't fully blame her because she can't do this on her own. I fully believe somebody got a hold of
Of
her or
course,
something. You know what I mean?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course, that doesn't mean that, just because she isn't a stars, athlete or whatever, doesn't mean that she's incorrect either. Just because she's not the greatest athlete on the planet doesn't mean she's incorrect in stating that, maybe men should not be competing against women in women's sports.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe her saying that it cost her a lot of, scholarships and stuff might not be exactly true,
Right.
but maybe those lies probably shouldn't have been stated. It should have probably. In fact, I would say the girls and women who don't have a lot to lose, the ones that are in the lower sort of tiers within
Yeah.
their respective sports, so it probably should be the ones speaking out, because the ones at the top, well, who are in number 2 now, they have a lot to lose by complaining about this.
Yeah. And
Whereas the ones that are, towards the bottom, they don't really have a lot to lose. So maybe they should be the one, taking the bullet for the girls that are, performing at, well, between 2 and 11 now, I guess, because number 1 is a guy.
well, even if you want to get, like, if they want to talk about the safety issues of it, the top ones probably are better at protecting themselves than the lower ones. So that'd be another reason for I guess, the lower ones to take the bullet or whatever. But I just think what gets me, it's like a lot of these people didn't care or even made fun of women's sports until this became an issue, and all of a sudden they act like they're very concerned about it. So I'm not
Well,
saying it's
yeah,
not an issue. I just don't even think it's in the top 100 issues this country has. So I don't know why it's always at
yeah,
the forefront.
that's honestly like where I've been at on it. uh, are really close to sort of my position is like, well, you have all these colleges and whatnot with these, trans athletes that are good, and nobody even knew that these sports even existed
You're right, right.
until they got a trans athlete on there. Now everybody's outraged, but everybody's watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like there's all this controversy and rage and shit going on. Like, you shouldn't have this guy on the team or whatever. And it's like, but you didn't even know we had a team.
Right.
You didn't know this sport existed until a couple of years ago when we got a trans athlete. And now we have eyes on, and now we're actually making some money here. And of course, as soon as they get rid of the trans person, nobody's going to watch ever again.
Right, right. I wish I could remember. There was I think last year when this was all blowing up, there was a state that passed some kind of legislation, and I think it was one of the rural states that probably decent size, but nobody lives there. Like, I don't know, Wyoming or whatever. But they didn't have one female trans athlete in high school, like on record, that anyone knew of. But they were wasting time passing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not into both sides complain about this identity politics. I wish it would all stop. I don't give it. I just don't
Dude,
care.
PC has been a thing forever, man. I mean, back in our day, it was called political correctness.
Correctness. Yeah.
And then
I
now
just
it's just, this woke shit or fucking all this. it's like a lot of this stuff shouldn't even be controversial to begin with, right? Uh, as I said, especially men and women's sports. But then again, as I said, it's the men and women's sports that are breaking eyes on the women's sports. So what are these people supposed to do?
Right.
Um, I guess just to kind of move on from this topic because it's not really has to that
Yeah.
much to do with the speech. Uh, yeah, I agree. I guess.
What did you so were you someone that how did you feel about the I know the Democrats got, at least from Trump and the Republic, like, got some flack for not standing for certain like the Lincoln Riley act, and even DJ, and I guess a lot of the Democrats didn't stand the chair. So do you
It's
think that's a big deal, or do you think it's not a big deal, just standard stuff?
unfortunately, I think it's become standard stuff. Uh, I th- we keep seeing, especially on X, Democrats saying, they are the adults in the room, and I kind of feel that as an adult, when you have a child or the teenager that got accepted to West Point, or the child who's battling brain cancer or whatever, and always wanted to be a cop, or this guy wants to be an officer cadet or whatever. Even if I don't like the guy who's presenting it, I feel like it's the adult thing to do, to stand up, cheer, good, 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 that's good, that's good, and then sit down. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, at least, like, listen, I'm not religious. My aunt, super religious. I'll say, I haven't really said it here, but I've told you I just had some medical issues.
Yep.
Aunt got a prayer circle together. She's got all her
Right.
Christian friends, all her church, and everybody's praying for me. What I said was, tell everybody thank you,
Yep.
and I appreciate it,
Mm.
because that's how adults are. I don't believe what they're doing has anything to do with
Right.
it's not helping me at all, but they're thinking about me.
Yep.
They think they're doing good. I'm happy that they're thinking about me. Thank you. Or,
So
stand up and, oh, good. That's great. The kid's fighting cancer. Oh, he wanted to go to West Point and he's a great athlete and an awesome student. That's fantastic. Good for him. Do I like Trump? No. Sit down. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like childish to just sit there. No, I will not be happy with anything.
You got
know what I
a
mean?
fan. I had the fan last time. You got the pineapple back in you tonight.
All right. Pineapples. I think he just changes sides every show just to be just so he can be equal.
Right.
Give equal
So
affection.
I am mixed on what I agree and disagree. Like, I would 100% do exactly what you did with your aunt. I'm the same way. I actually come from a very Catholic family. I am agnostic, if not atheist. I go back and forth, but I am not religious at all. But when people do that, their hearts are in the right place. So that means a lot to me.
Yeah, I go by I'm a apotheist.
Apotheist.
I don't care
I
if
get
there's
you.
a God or not, because the rent's still due on the first. regardless of who the right God is, or who God is, or if there is or isn't, they still expect the money on the first.
They sure do. So where I was going with that is like, I think they definitely should have clapped for the West Point kid, DJ. I am torn on that. I emotionally, like, I think he was being exploited, so it's tough to clap for someone you think is being exploited.
Yeah, I guess that is the other half of that, is
Yeah.
that I don't think that DJ kid. Well, I mean, if he was going to be there, at least leave him on the ground. Don't hold him up like your trophy. We
I
could see him just fine. Okay, Dad, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. We can see him.
I think I've made it clear I wouldn't have clapped for Peyton McNabb, and I gave those reasons.
Well,
But the Laken Riley one is tough because that's just an awful story. What happened to her? Um, and that guy deserves the fucking rot. I just
oh yeah,
don't like
absolutely.
they're trying to act like it's tough because they're trying to act like immigrants or migrants are more likely to commit crimes or like that's the reason Trump cares. There's a million joggers getting killed by not a million, but you know, what I mean, they're joggers getting killed by American citizens, and there's no laws named after those victims. It's
Well, I
because
think the issue is more along the lines of if that person wasn't allowed to enter illegally in the first place. Now,
yeah,
that's not to say that somebody else wouldn't have killed her, but it's like, well, that person shouldn't have been here in the first place. Like that person shouldn't have been there at that spot in this country to begin with. And I think that's where the argument about that
I
mostly
get that.
is.
Shit,
It's not do Americans commit more crimes than illegals? Well, obviously we do. I
yeah.
mean, because there's just way more of us citizens than there are illegals, so that's just going to happen. But
And even unless things change,
having it's just having all these unvetted people come in,
where they
like
drop the
there's a
ball.
reason for the immigration, and green cards and all the stuff you got to go through even to just to get into work.
Don't forget
There's
the
a
gold
reason for
cards.
that. Oh yeah, I got a few million.
5 million, whatever it is. Yeah.
I think it was like
Um,
5 million.
well, I can't. I don't want to say too much because then people do well, not that anyone's watching today, but if they rewatch, um, one of the towns I lived in, there was a tragic accident where a drunk asshole who was an illegal undocumented immigrant was driving his truck, hit a young male in his 20s on a motorcycle and dragged him for a very long time because he was drunk and didn't realize he even had the guy. That mother is Trump exploited her for a while. She's and I get her anger. That guy had like a million DUIs and somehow was not kicked out of the country. Like unacceptable. Like I
Yeah,
even a
that's
lib like me, you commit crimes as an undocumented immigrant, you got to go. I'm not
yeah,
for
that
and
seems like minimum, right?
right. And the
Like that's minimum effort on it's like, hey, if you're not going to secure the border, at least have the minimum effort. If you're going to catch them doing these horrendous things, kick them out. But of course they probably did kick him out. He just came right back in
like,
through
could be, I
whatever,
can't
the open
remember.
border.
But I
um
believe even the guy that killed Lake and Riley, I believe he shoplifted or something, and they didn't fully investigate. Like he would have been booted or whatever. But that stuff, I mean, they got to close those loopholes. I'm torn on the Lake and Riley bill just because there's no. I agree with 99% of it, except for there's no due process. It's just an accusation and you're gone. So I'm afraid there's going to be like someone in a store and see someone that looks Hispanic. Hey, he shoplifted something, and then
yeah,
that
but if
person
he's
gets
a
hassled.
legal citizen, then
Right, but it gets like,
well, I
well,
mean it's
and then
still bullshit, but at least he's not going to get deported.
true. I don't know. Like you could just tighten that up a little bit, and I think everyone would agree. But they always got to leave a little loophole in there.
And that's also, that's also performative too. I mean, okay, I will admit that it was kind of wild having the president signing an executive order as he's addressing the Senate.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of wild and kind of cool and obviously performative. Uh,
Did you see him call Warren Pocahontas? I actually missed it the
I
first
did.
time.
I
Yeah.
fucking laughed. I was just
Well,
like, ah.
I've always been torn on that one too because she's a senator in my state. I used to like her. I hate her now. You turn out to be a
Oh, yeah,
phony.
and then yeah, when he brought it up and all the Dems, the one time that the Democrats did clap when he's talking about all the billions tossed at Ukraine,
Yeah.
and then said, "Oh, so what? We're supposed to do it for like another 5 years?" And then he's like, "Yeah, Pocahontas wants to." I was just like, ah. But then they turned to the Democrats and like holding up like Ukraine flags. Like I thought that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like I don't think of any time in history where any side of the political aisle would have done something like that, within, from even from Trump's first term. I would say between 2020 uh, and back, I can't think of a single time that anybody on any side of the aisle, any representative, any congressperson at all, would hold up another nation's flag
Like,
in session. And I was just like, wow, that is wild. Like that was, oh my God. How do these people, I was gonna say, how do these people get elected? But then, it's not like Bobart or Marjorie Taylor Greene or AOC or fucking, what's her name? Waters
yeah.
or Pelosi,
Oh God.
like, or, oh, what's her name? Feinstein.
I fucking hated that lady.
It's like, how do these people keep getting elected? Well, they either run unopposed or
Yeah.
they're also representatives too. It's a lot different than senators, because representatives, that's where the whole gerrymandering comes in,
Yeah.
where they fix their district so that the people that will vote for them are in their district.
Yep.
That's where you get all the weird
Gerrymandering.
shapes.
It's ridiculous. This is my personal opinion. I think the Dems are getting some info that, like, hey, guess what? People actually, people that don't like Trump, they actually want you to fucking do something, because this do nothing is, and this is what they fucking came up with. Because of course this is what they came up with. I
Yeah,
can't, like, even, I know I'm biased because I like Bernie more, but it's like whoever that woman was that gave out the official response for the Democrats. Response was terrible. Almost nobody's watched it. Like 20,000 times more people have watched Bernie's unofficial response. It's like, you don't even have to be him. Pick someone that people will at least watch. It's like you're picking.
I didn't realize they
fucking,
gave an official response.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I actually, yeah, I did watch I did watch a bit of Bernie
Right.
and his response. I didn't even realize the Dems gave it an official response.
No, I'd never heard of the woman. I couldn't tell you her name right now. I didn't even make it all the way through, but it was milk toast. It was classic corporate neo fucking liberal bullshit. Just like, yeah, the Democrats are so dumb. They think they want to act like Republicans, just a little like Republican light. It's like, people that like Republicans are going to vote for Republicans, you dummies. You got to like do something different. And it's like they're even almost backing Doge in this thing. Like, yeah, we're all for cutting waste, but we want to do it a little more precise. And it's just, oh, shut up. Just,
It's making you starting like Elon.
I can't take. I mean, I hate Elon, but at least he's real. He's
doing
himself.
something. He's doing something, and he as Chad Zumach would say, he's doing it.
He's setting up to make himself rich, is what he's doing. Even richer, but
but he's still doing the thing. So,
but there's
and maybe he's getting a little on the side, but he's doing the thing, which is a lot more. Like, I saw a news video from Obama when he was running for president back in when he was first running.
Yeah,
and even he said, and I totally blanked on this. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere, because we talked about this before, where I remember Obama saying that he was going to do basically what Elon and Trump are doing, and he's actually on video saying, yes, we can get rid of all these programs. I don't even need congressional approval to do it. We can just do it. Right?
Yeah.
And then here we are, 15 years later, 20 years later, and proving that. So,
yeah, like, I think
Obama told us he could just do it, and he didn't do it.
I told you, even though I don't like what they're doing for the most part, at least they're showing like nothing a Democrat likes more than acting like their hands are tied and they can't fucking do something. And it drives me fucking crazy.
Like at the Treasury, where they're trying to get in.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, it was pathetic.
Yeah. The lackey was just like, no.
This fucking nobody is like because it was just performative. They didn't want to get in. You know
No,
what I
and then
mean?
what did they do? They went directly outside at a podium and said, "Why isn't anybody doing anything
Yeah,
about this?" And it's like,
right.
well, you're the senator, or
Led
you're
by
the
Chuck Schumer.
congressperson.
Right. Yeah. Who fucking nobody wants to hear from fucking Chuck Schumer.
So
But
you're the congressperson. Aren't you supposed to be the one that's
right.
doing
It's
something about this?
I can't fucking take it. It's when someone mistakenly calls me a Democrat, I get so mad. It's like the worst insult. I'm like,
Don't put
not
that evil on me.
yeah, not only am I not, into this corporate fucking bullshit, but they're weak and pathetic. I would never be a fucking this generation's Democrat. It's fucking awful.
I've been the same way about Republicans since the Patriot Act, basically. I've just been like, no, these are they're waspy fucking stuffed suits.
Yep.
Basically, it was not just the Democrats. I've ever since then, I'm just like it was really the Republicans that really made me get behind the idea that all the politicians should have the sponsorship patches on their
Right.
suit on who's sponsoring. It was really the Republicans that really turned me on to that idea, because I was just like, but then again, that was a different Republican Party. Even Trump's first term, the Republicans did not like Trump. He
Right.
did not have a lot of Republican support or Democrat support
It,
in DC.
it's funny. I first got into politics when I really because I was always I vaguely know what was going on, but I was always oh, Republicans are terrible. Democrats ain't great, but they're way better. And then when I found out, no, they're not really.
But it's
Uh,
two sides of the
yeah,
same coin.
that's when I
They're
found,
the left pocket and the right pocket, and both
yep.
hands are out.
I think it was this fucking bill where they were trying to I don't know, it was on like vitamins or minerals, like supplements. Oh, they're not even regulated. Like I think like there's been like studies where like 4 out of 10 supplements don't even have the main ingredient that they claim they have, like weird shit like that. And they were gonna try and crack down. And whether you agree with that or not, but it was stopped by one Democrat, one Republican coming together, and both of them were the number one recipients from the vitamin supplement industry.
Of
And I was like,
course they
oh my
were.
fucking God. It was so long ago. I don't remember who the hell, they're probably not even
That
around
doesn't
anymore.
matter. I mean, I
But
believe it.
yeah. And I was like,
Because of course
what?
they were.
And then just like as obvious that is, it was like I was like, oh my God. And then I just like kept looking more. I'm like, holy shit, they're the same fucking we got a uniparty here. This is
Yeah,
what
the
we
more
got.
you get
Yeah.
into the more you get into politics, well, the more you genuinely get into politics and not just play whatever,
Right.
and not just playing team sports like most people seem to be doing. Uh, yeah, the more jaded and a lot of very cynical you start getting about
Yep.
uh, uh, politics and the politicians. Or that's why I thought we'd make a good show, because I'm cynical on the right, you're cynical on the left.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like,
Even
they're all pieces of shit.
they
Like, you
even
got to be
cover.
a piece of you got to be a piece of shit in somebody's pocket just to get on the ballot.
Yep. Yep.
They
They
won't
even
they won't give you the money. They won't let you on the ballot unless you're in somebody's pocket.
no. I saw
Both
something
sides.
else like the number of time that they spend congressmen and congresswomen on the phone looking for donations. Like they forced or the party leaders like literally have you do that for like hours and hours and hours on day on end, and it's like it's got to be soul crushing, man. But I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
am for an actual, like, a specific amount given by the government for campaigns,
right, good.
or even like um, allowing companies to donate time or whatever for campaign ads, campaign speeches. Being able to donate time on a platform for maybe a certain kind of tax break or something. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? For
something
donating time to an election or something like that, because we really do need to get the money out of
out of
politics.
politics. Yeah,
It's counting a yeah, counting going by how much money somebody's able to gather is basically their chances to win
yep,
is terrible.
100%. I can't take it.
Everybody should have the equal time, equal
Yep,
chance, equal opportunity, to be able to get their message out, and nobody should have any kind of advantage because of money,
Yep.
for
Yeah.
fundraising.
And now they even like threaten, like, oh, go along, or we're gonna fund an opponent, primary opponent, and you're fucking gone. Because especially, in the more local or Congress elections, more money spent wins like 99 out of 100 fucking times.
And it's
AOC
ridiculous, and
was
it
like
should
the
not
the
happen.
one that won, that spent the first time she won. She got less, and it was like a miracle because that shit never happens. But before I got off track, I was gonna say another thing that got
Yeah,
me.
we've already got off track.
It's all right. This is even off track. But when I was talking about what got me into politics, besides finding out the top donor recipients on each party, is when I found out that like they cover for each other in votes. Like, okay, suppose like they're going down party lines, and then when they don't go down party lines, like I suppose like 3 Republicans vote with the Democrats, all of a sudden 3 Democrats will vote with the Republicans, and just to offset it, because like certain Republicans will have to vote for something because it's important in their state or their district, so they'll vote to with the Democrats to appease their local recipients, but then they'll get 3 Dems that have nothing to lose to vote Republican so that it doesn't go through, and it's like it's a fucking joke.
Oh yeah, that happens constantly.
Yep.
Where they make deals back and forth or
Yep.
whatever on what they're going to vote for. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yep.
That's the currency in DC is favors.
100%.
Yeah, I've known that for quite a long
A
time.
long time. I knew about the favors. I never, and I don't know. I forget what it was. There was something where I forget the politician. I fucking hated him. I would have said Ted Cruz, but it was before even Ted Cruz. But thought that they voted for something good, and I was like, holy shit! And then found out why, because they had to, because of their district. And don't worry, we
Yeah, they
got
didn't
someone
want
on
to.
the other. Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't want them to lose they didn't
their
want to get
seat.
primaried
Right.
or lose their
Yep.
district, so they could say, "Oh, you voted for it," so they made a deal over here, and then we'll vote for your thing next time. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And it's like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god. Yeah, it's a
That
joke.
happens. I say, if you keep looking at the votes, you keep seeing it happening
Hmm.
all the time, especially with well, Democrat or Republican senators and representatives who, there's some bill come up that's not popular, for their district or whatever.
Right. Right.
They'll be like, okay, yeah, vote for it so that you can say you voted for or against or whatever, however your district wants you to vote. Um, we're not going to have the votes for it anyway, or we are going to get the votes for it to go through anyway. So go ahead and do that just so you can, yeah, keep your seat.
I remember on the being big on the left when last time Pelosi was Speaker of the House there. They were trying to get. They wanted like we call them the Justice. The wing of the Democrats called the Justice Democrats, like the squads. It basically means you don't take corporate PAC money or whatever. And they were trying, the more progressive, they were trying to get them to hold out and get concessions. And someone, Jimmy, do you know Jimmy Dore? Have you heard of Jimmy Dore, the YouTuber?
Yeah, he was on Young Turks. Right?
Yeah.
He used to be
And
on the
now,
Young Turks, but he went a
yeah.
little right wing for him.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then Anna turned around and followed
Yeah.
his followed
Yeah.
his lead.
I don't watch them too
And
much
now
anymore,
Cenk
but I
is
hear,
following along.
yeah, I think he's probably just following. And I don't know. Jenk started out as a Republican, actually, so maybe he's heading back. Who knows? But yeah, this was right before Jimmy started his turn or during his turn. He came up with the idea to force a vote for Medicare for all, which sounds great on its surface, but then I'm like, it's not going to pass. So what's going to happen is there are going to be people that don't really support it. They're going to vote for it, knowing it's not going to pass. They're going to make all these deals, and then they can say, "I support Medicare for all," when they really don't. So it's
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's like that too, where it's not meant to pass.
right.
It's just meant to look good that you
Yep.
voted for it.
Yep. Yep. I had wow, we went farther than I thought. Before I wrap this up, I actually had a question about your opinion on something that happened yesterday, because
Absolutely.
we briefly
That's what
brought
we're
up
here for.
the free speech thing and whatever. And Trump saying, what was it? colleges that allow illegal protests will lose their funding or whatever. What did you think about that? I think
I
Trump's attacks on the First Amendment go a little under the radar. He does these things that, like
I
he said
think
before, that anyone who burns an American flag should get a year in prison. And I'm not saying
no.
people like that, but that's protected by the First Amendment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
So,
is 100%
so
freedom of speech. And
speech,
no, you can't do that.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I'm not happy with that either. I think he's learned the political. His first term, he didn't really understand politics, and
yeah,
I think this term he's just throwing shit out there. Is I think what's going on. Like this first term, he seemed to ask advice about stuff and like not really try to say or do anything without somebody saying can he or should he or does he have the ability to.
yeah.
But anyway, as far as the flag burning thing, fuck off with that, Trump. You can't do it. That's First Amendment. The illegal protest thing is I want some clarification on what he means by that.
Right.
Because just protesting is fine. It's just legal. Maybe like on a college campus, I think most do require a permit of some sort, just to keep from interrupting. Because there's other students there, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's other people trying to learn. If you want to have a protest, yes, go out into the quad and have your protest at this time, and that is fine. Don't block anything. I think I'm assuming that he means basically unpermitted protests that result in vandalism, violence, fighting, blocking the way in. Because I mean, they really like the pro-Palestinians protests were literally blocking Jewish students from entering several of the college buildings, and that was just like this, or just last year.
Yeah.
They
So,
were literally blocking and making threats and violence and stuff against Jewish students. I'm not a huge pro-Israel guy or whatever, but I'm also not, I'm not an anti-Semite,
right. Right. Right.
It's like, and I don't think there's Jewish cabals and all this other sort of stupid crap. But if you're going to, that's where I think, but as I said, I don't know what he means by illegal. Like, I think like some clarification should probably
Yeah.
come forward on that. But what he means by illegal, like I'm assuming, as I said, he doesn't mean the protest itself is illegal. I'm assuming he means once the protest turns illegal.
Yeah. I kind of went like he's really talking about the Palestine Israel. Like he even said no mass or whatever. So, um, and to defend Trump, God, both parties. And I'm not anti-Semitic either, but man, do they love protecting. I wish I could remember the specifics, but this was under Biden, is what I remember. They were trying or dangling, passing something that made it pretty much would make it illegal for like corporations to boycott Israel or the products in Israel. It
Oh,
was
I
something
no,
with,
no,
yeah,
I remember that. It was like you had to make some sort of pledge to
yeah.
Israel of some sort,
And I was like, "Whoa."
along with your service. Like you had to make, there was like some sort of weird pledge that you're not. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Like, I don't want to give misinformation. I just remember it was fucked up. It seemed like you needed be loyal to Israel. Like
yeah,
they're
it's
trying
like
to make it, yeah.
you need to pledge like loyalty to Israel, or like you wouldn't do anything anti-Semitic, or it was some weird shit where I was just like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, listen, I don't begrudge Israel any. Oh, I mean, I begrudge Israel a lot. That's a whole show.
Yeah.
Um, the whole Israel thing is a whole show in itself, and maybe we'll get to it one day.
That's a difficult one, man. That goes back.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So, but it's um, I forgot where I was getting it.
All good.
Basically, leave the Jews alone.
Right. I I have no problem with the Israeli people, their government. is another story.
Well, yeah. Obviously,
Just like
Israel
I have
itself is a bit of a
nope,
problem.
right. Like my issues with Hamas, not with the Palestinian people. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's ugly. All
And
right.
that's another whole show. But anyway.
Yeah. Right. That's when Shuli will no longer like me after that show.
Oh, come on.
Well, right.
Shuli doesn't seem to be much of a Shuli.
Right. Do you have anything else, or do you wanna? We're over the hour mark.
No, I think we covered most of it. Let's see, we got most of the speech done. The
Yeah,
Dems.
most of my notes.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
see? Did you did you see? What's his name? Rachel Maddow talk
oh,
about
yeah.
talk about DJ. Did you see her little thing?
I I don't know if I saw her. I saw her. I don't know if the woman was with her or the one about hope he doesn't commit suicide or whatever, become a
No,
police.
no, no. She's
Okay.
basically saying that why is Trump? I could probably bring it up, but I think we need to wrap. Uh, Basically say that Trump has nothing to do with the kid, um, beating cancer. So why is he even there? And
Oh,
also,
yeah.
Trump is defunding cancer research. And I was just looking at it going, this is the most ghoulish thing I
I
have
don't
ever heard.
mind the research part, but I don't. The other part is ridiculous. I don't. It's who-
I was
no.
just wondering if you had seen that
Yeah,
because I
I
mean, it
do.
is Rachel Maddow. Not even Democrats watch her
No.
anymore.
Yeah, she's fucking terrible. Uh did you see I can't remember the wording now. When Trump talked about the transgender mice, I forget what the term was supposed to
Oh
be.
yeah, yeah. It was supposed to be like transgenic or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But
which
he
meant
called
like
them transgender.
putting like
I was
human
just like,
tissues in the mice or whatever. So they were yeah. I'm not gonna act like I knew what that was, but it's just funny that I
it
wonder if
was.
he's butchered on purpose or not. That's what
I mean, who knows? It's
yeah,
Trump, right?
right.
He may or may not have, for either comedic reasons or just to piss somebody off. Like
Yeah.
when he was talking about that racer, was it the bicyclist or was it? I forget where he say that she won by like 5 hours.
Was
The transgender. I'm sorry.
yeah,
The
yeah.
transgenders. I think it was it a cyclist or a runner or something? I forget exactly which.
Yeah,
But she actually won by like 5 minutes. But
right.
we're talking a sport where the difference between first place and second place is all within or first place and 10th place is all within a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Winning by 5 minutes, that's
And
still
it's
a lot. And I
right.
remember a bunch of the usual scumbags on X saying it was 5 minutes, not
And
5 hours. And it's like, well, at 5 minutes, it might as well be 5 hours. What's the
yeah,
difference?
they they picked the
But
wrong shit to fight over, I tell you.
they do. They really
Yeah.
do. They really nitpicked like a lot of really stupid stuff. And I saw the thing about the transgenic mice not being like, and I'm like, that's what you got. Like that's it. Like
The
okay.
there was one more thing. Shoot. Oh, the when Trump repeated I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but he repeated the now debunked that 150-year-olds are getting Social Security or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Oh no, even
Again,
yeah, even Elon Musk said that wasn't
right.
true. He
So
said
it's
that
like,
on Rogan. He was like, it's not that they're getting um what do you say? Hold on. I actually clicked off. They say it's not that they're getting benefits, specifically Social Security benefits, but being marked alive in the Social Security database, makes these names and people or whoever's using these things eligible for other programs and stuff like that because the databases don't really talk to each other that
yeah,
well. So you got like one database that says, as the Social Security database, all it says is this person alive? It says yes. And they go, okay, you can get benefits. Not like when was this person born and shit like that. So
right.
I mean, Musk has a good point on that, but even Musk, as I said, debunked
Yeah. I will
his
say the
own thing,
point
saying that's not they're not all getting Social Security.
I will say that yeah, at least like I said, I don't know if Trump brought it up just to spread the misinformation. Like I am worried that they as a whole, their claim is that they're going to claim all this fraud and Social Security, Medicare, all these things, so that they can slash it. That's going to like to make cuts and act like they're cutting, and it's not even going to affect me, but they're going to act like they're cutting the fraud, and it's going to cut everyday Americans. I don't know if that's what they're setting up. I mean, Republicans have wanted to cut, the entitlements for a long time.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
don't know if I want to call Trump and his people Republicans. I mean, let's face it, Trump was a Democrat, RFK Jr. is Democrat, Musk was a Democrat. Like half his cabinet were former Democrats. Like
yeah,
actual, Democrats from back in the day, not like current
right, right.
Democrats. Actual, left-leaning politicians with a functional brain, Democrats.
I'll throw
People.
this up just because I know who this person is.
Oh, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I know Vladimir Putin.
One of my favorite Russian dictators.
So yeah, just as a whole, I'm worried. Like even the FAA stuff, I don't. So like Elon or companies can take or sabotaging certain things so Elon's companies can take over, or so they can make cuts. I'm afraid that's what this is all about.
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
see, I guess, but
I know it's like all we can do is wait and see. In the meantime, I mean, he's doing the thing. They're just doing what he said. I mean, as I said, shit, fucking Obama said he was going to do it. He didn't do it.
right. Yeah, of
So
course
I
they
mean,
did.
they're doing the thing. I'm a wait and see. I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Obama let him steal a fucking judge from him for 10 months.
But yeah, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it is, but I'm optimistic. I'm
Okay.
optimistic that Trump and Musk et al, RFK Jr. or whatever, although what he was his newest thing, like the climate changes, or is it whatever his new thing was a health issue? It's like, no, Mr. Bobby Jr.
Junior.
Yes, we should not be subsidizing junk food for people on SNAP and food benefits. Absolutely. Let's
I
stick
don't know.
with that.
I find that
Let's stick
interesting
with
too.
health. Yeah, let's stick with that health issue there.
I
the
am
whole
actually go on.
well,
Sorry.
the being able to get pre-prepared foods and actually getting junk food and stuff like that is actually relatively new within the past. I think it started in the last like year or two of Obama. Is when
Okay.
they started allowing people on food stamps, but whatever it's called, wherever
Snap.
you're at, SNAP.
Yeah.
Benefits or EBT or whatever they want
Yeah.
to call it now. It's actually an extremely recent thing where they're able to actually get junk food and stuff like that. I remember this
I
because
didn't even know that.
yeah, when I was growing up, my mom, I think I told you this before. I think I said it before. She had an injury. She had to go back to school or whatever. We were on welfare, and we had food stamps. Back when it was food stamps. You had
Stamps. Yeah.
a book
Yeah.
of stamps.
Yeah.
And you could not get any junk food at all. You could get meat, cheese, block cheese. Couldn't get already shredded or cut cheese. It got to be block cheese. I will say I have had Reagan cheese. The whole government cheese thing. Government
Yeah.
cheese, awesome, fantastic,
Okay.
loved it. Government peanut butter was amazing.
Wow.
It was just ground peanuts. There's literally nothing in it but ground peanuts. You
peanuts.
had to like mix it the oil and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Government peanut butter, amazing. Government cheese, amazing. I remember that from when I was a kid. But yeah, you could get, as I said, meats, block cheese, bread, of course, all that stuff. Any junk food, any soda, chips, snacks, cakes, whatever. No, absolutely not. It was only, as I said, about I think it was Obama's like last couple of years or something like that, where they started to say like, yeah, you could start using your became SNAP benefits for junk food, for stacks and prepared foods and stuff like that. And then I think it was last few years, I want to say, where you could start using it at like 7-Eleven and fast food places and stuff like that. That's all really recent, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew about the hot food or pre-prepared food you couldn't get. I didn't know about
Yeah.
the snack food being new. I pretty much been. I think I said this before. I'm that guy makes just enough not to qualify, but not enough that. Yeah, I'm always in between.
But yeah, as I said, all of that's really new. So I think that getting rid of all the junk food and stuff being available through Snap, I think is a benefit. I think that needs to happen, and I think that's what RFK Jr. needs to, or RFK Jr. needs to uh, focus on.
Focus on.
But or what was it that was it? I think was it climate or was it DEI or something? I forget exactly what it was that he decided is a current health issue. And it's like, no, stay away from that.
I
Get our
wouldn't
food
even.
good. Get at least let our kids at schools be able to buy a decent meal from the school.
So that's what's funny. Like, I remember Michelle Obama tried doing that with the healthy shit at school, and people flipped out. And it's like they've done a 180 on it, which I guess is good to see. Um, I'm all down for RFK to get some of these chemicals out of our food, like certain chemicals that are illegal in Europe and shit like that. Um, I
Yeah,
wish he would focus more on that than
I didn't really care about like the artificial
it's
food
just
dyes, but then I was watching a bunch of videos and saw a bunch of stuff about, especially in Japan, but Japan specifically, but in Europe and in several countries, but Japan has very strict rules on artificial dyes and stuff like that. And you see some of their sodas and stuff that aren't allowed to have dyes. It actually looks better, without the dyes. I'm looking at these juices and stuff, going, man, that looks pretty good. That looks way better than our soda.
Oh,
Just
oh,
with just its
yeah.
natural color.
Did-
I don't know really how much artificial dyes really affect anything. I'm sure it's not great.
yeah,
And I'm sure that getting rid of any kind of artificial dyes is not gonna hurt.
right. Yeah, it's all for presentation, I guess. But
Yeah, whether or not it's going to be exceptionally helpful to get rid of it, I don't know. It's certainly not gonna hurt. I would certainly prefer not to have them in there.
I could agree with that. Um, did you see the SCOTUS decision today on the
Oh, on the freeze
U.S.
on the
Yeah, the
yeah,
freeze on
the
the
freeze on the, yeah, uh, it's really nothing. Is just basically you can't freeze contracts that have already been,
right. And to me, that's a
completed.
no-brainer. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah. If
but
you
the
wanna,
left, as in all the regular scumbags on the left on X, the paid shills and everything are saying, "This is a big defeat for Trump." And it's like, no, no, no. They just say you got to fulfill the contract that you've already had. That's already been fulfilled. You got to pay for the contract that's been fulfilled.
yep,
That's all.
which should be like if you look
Oh
whether
yeah,
do you want to continue doing the stuff. That's another question, but you got to pay for the shit that's already been done. So
exactly.
I'm
And so that's what they took the freeze off of.
all
So yeah, as I said, I saw some stuff on it, but I was just like, man, they're really trying to make some hay on X. I'll tell you that.
right. Well, you got the Trump guy controlling everything, but not like I said, the Dems, they have no fucking idea what they're doing. It's like I don't know if I'm right. I feel like obviously I feel like I'm right, but I know I'm more right than these idiots because they lose every fucking time. And the people that lose every time think they have the answers, and it's so frustrating. I can't, and they just don't know how bad they look. Like they just how
it's
weak and
it's
pathetic and ugh.
it's amazing. And aren't these supposed to be the people with all of, the young people on their side, and none of these young people are coming forward and say, this is how Trump won. He
Yeah,
listened to his 18-year-old son saying, you need to go on this podcast
right.
and that podcast. Trump had no idea who these people are.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
And,
Yep.
he talked to him and had good rapport. I mean, he's Trump.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of charisma. And these were, podcasts that were really into Trump too. And Barron is saying, go here, go there. You got to do this. You got to do that. And Trump really was able to get the youth vote that way and then you have the Democrats over here. We're supposed to be the party of the younger people,
Yep.
and who are they listening to? Because it's not the young people.
No.
Because no, you know, 20, 19, 20, 21-year-old political activist kid is, well, maybe they might would say hold up signs like that. You know what I mean?
No, they are so
Like who?
stuck in their old ways. They don't. The old ones gotta go. The
Not,
Pelosi's and
this
the
is all sides.
Schumers. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
But
the
it's
old
like
ones everywhere got to go.
I don't. That is the one good thing I will say about Trump is he's forcing. He's helping the. Even though I think he's a. I think no. I guess he's not phony. I just don't think he's sincere. But
Oh yeah.
he's trying to force some of the phoniness out of our fucking politics, which like get these old school fucking politicians that can't relate to the working class. They gotta go. They don't even know what they're doing. They
Well,
just
that's been
don't.
as I said, that's been a general problem in politics, a specific problem with conservatives for a long time.
Right. It's not supposed to be
They,
with the Dems, and they're worse than the Republicans now. You know.
I know it's fucking crazy that, I've got to be over here. Like I've always been anti-war, even when the Republicans were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go kick
Yeah.
Saudi or Iraq's ass." I'm like, okay, as long as we get in and get out and we're done, and then of course, forever war.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh,
and it was the Democrats that were, I was actually pretty much siding with the Democrats, saying,
yeah.
"Hey, we shouldn't be going to. So if we're going to do something, let's just do it, get it done, get out, done." And then now it seems like it's completely reversed, where the Democrats are just need to get in there and kick Russia's ass, and I'm like, nobody's
Yeah.
kicking Russia's ass.
I mean, they
Okay,
even with Israel, which both parties
yeah.
side with, usually it's like you guys like I don't know how it's tough, but like which poll I've seen it polled both ways, but I can tell you a lot of people on the left were not happy that Harris was like so pro-Israel or whatever, and they think they got to go more in on that. It's like they think they have to be more like Republicans, and
Oh, I
like I said
know. Here,
earlier,
yeah, yeah. I
you have
knew
to have an
Harris was
alternative.
sunk as soon as
Yeah,
she went in on Israel, especially at that specific time when a lot of the left was very pro-Palestine.
yeah. Like there's a lot of I only know this from like a big Palestinian community, like in Michigan, like some of the at least Michigan, some of the swing states, and I'm sure that cost her. She wouldn't have won anyway, but it was they just have I don't know who's advising these fucking idiots. Ugh. Like Trump's getting better at I don't like the guy, but he's getting better advice, I'll tell you that. With the
Oh,
campaigning
that's for
anyway.
sure. Well, he's taking better advice, I guess,
Like,
is more because I'm sure the Democrats are getting advice from people like you and other people who
mhm.
are like, "Hey, this isn't working."
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
people don't like what you're doing. It's
No.
like you're the people who like you like what you're doing,
Mm.
but they're going to like what you're doing no matter what.
Like you may laugh at this. I the one thing I liked at Harris, I actually liked her VP pick. Only because
Waltz.
you all like, but they don't focus on. He got a lot of really good populist working class shit done in Minnesota, but he ain't the best. He comes off a little too goofy, and like I don't know if he could work on that. But instead of focusing on, oh hey, look, he did this, and this, they had him go hide, and then she's running with Liz Cheney. Nobody likes the Republicans hate Liz Cheney and the left
Yeah,
hates Liz Cheney. Like what
yeah. I
the
don't think
Cheneys? What
anybody
are you
likes Liz
doing?
Cheney.
Right. Nobody likes the Cheneys. What are you doing? It's like I thought they were gonna do the right thing when they picked Walls was of all the choices was the most like progressive or economic populist. And then like they use him for a little bit and then literally they weren't taking him anywhere and she's running with Cheney and hanging with it was another Republican she was hanging. I can't remember who, but yeah, I was like, what are you doing running with former Republicans or current Republicans that just don't like Trump, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call them.
rhinos. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, never Trumpers or whatever the hell. Like, it's like, you're not appealing to anybody doing that. Like, your donor base, that's it. Your corporate donors are the only ones, the military industrial complex is very happy to see you run with a Cheney, but that's about it.
Pretty much, right?
All right. If you got nothing else, I got nothing else, man.
Yeah, I think we're
yeah.
running off topic.
Yeah, we're all over.
It's fun, but we're way off topic. I
Yep.
think I said everything I wanted to say about the speech. Speech boring. Democrat reaction entertaining is my TLDR.
All right. Well, if anyone watches this later, or then we had a couple people in here. We plan on sniping Stuttering John this weekend.
Absolutely, I'm very excited.
I've heard John say it was Saturday and Sunday, so I'm not sure which day.
Sunday.
I listened. I thought so.
I re-listened to the episode. I re-listened to the episode that he said it's going to be Sunday the 9th and Sunday the 16th.
16th. Okay. It was funny. I'd watched something and he said Saturday, but he gave the date for Sunday.
Right.
And then he was fighting
Saturday
with himself
the
in his head.
16th,
Yeah. But yeah, I think so it should be Sunday. So when we get the time, we plan on sniping, which we are pretty excited about.
Oh, I am. This was like, as I said, it was like probably a year or so ago that I was thinking, man, we should probably, you and I, should do a show together. I just focusing on John's political show.
Yeah, I even thought,
time, whatever, this and that. I didn't want to get something set up, or just like I didn't want to bother you, and we had only talked a little bit, and whatever just came up, and then we start doing it after John stops doing it altogether. And I hope he comes back to doing the political podcast.
Me too. The only thing that's gonna stink is like we're probably gonna agree more than even usual during the like
how could we not?
Right. I can't imagine what those three idiots are gonna say.
Oh, exactly. It's the three stupidest commenters on the internet.
I do know one thing. I know Jetta's gonna say that Ukraine's winning the war. That's all. But other than that,
of course. Well, Ukraine is definitely winning. In fact, they've almost taken over Russia. Ukraine is actually halfway into Poland by now. They're just rolling over everybody.
Yeah, Zelensky. Why negotiate now? You almost got it won. So yeah. But I just, and you probably felt the same way. It was kind of the speech, and I don't know. While it was hot, talk about it, because come the weekend we'll be talking about something else. So we got it in. All right, excellent. Everybody. Thank you.
See you. I guess we'll see everybody Sunday whenever John does his.
Yep.
I don't think you really gave a time, right?
No, he's usually, I think, in the afternoon.
It's usually in the early afternoon.
But we'll keep an eye out. Hell, I'll email him. Maybe he'll.
Maybe he'll let you know.
We got a great relationship. We'll see what happens. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. See you this Sunday.
Stuff, mumbling, pineapple stuff, dabbling, controversial stuff. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. NICK mumbling is right here. People in the house, put them hands in the air. Cause if you don't vote, then we don't care. 1, 2, 3 times 2 to the 6. Jonesing for your fix, so that dabble politics mix. So where the fudge you at, punk? Shut the fudge up and back the fudge up while we fudge this track up. On your black up, on your black up, on your black up, on your black up, on your black up. Retort in, now retort out. Hands up now, hands down. Back up, back out, tell me what you full of ducks now. Republicans in now, Democrats out. Guns up now, hands down. Black up, tell me what you dabbling in politics. Listen, we debate it all every week Saturday night, and the shoot-you thing right here. Yo, we're doing it all the time, so you better get some better views and get saved up on your dime. So we got the gang set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school dabblers blasting out the political shit. The back and forth shit, put bounce in the dabble pit. On the ransom.